Hey guys, it's your boy Quincy, and tonight I want to talk about the death of Stan Lee. All I gotta say is this: rest in peace, Stan Lee. You're the best thing that ever happened to me throughout my childhood and adulthood, and other people's lives throughout the world with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, films of Marvel comics, especially with the X-Men, because those characters are based on black people and struggles that they were going through, and we were going through throughout the world during the civil rights movement. In America and the Green generation, when black people came over from the Caribbean to the UK for jobs so they can create a better life for themselves, only to be faced with racism and prejudice and so on. And also black people throughout the world that was going through racism during that time period in the 1940s, 50s, 60s to the present day. Also, what was I going to say? Also, Stan Lee was an innovator and a pioneer, because when he started creating Marvel comic books and the X-Men, he during the 50s, 60s, when the other comic book was creating any black characters, he created black characters purely for the simple fact is that they should be represented in these Marvel comics and films without any prejudice or judgment, and that everyone should be given a fair chance in life, no matter what race or colour, creed or social class they come from, which is an excellent thing. And he provided so many memories in my life. Every time when the new Marvel film comes out, I get so excited because I loved Marvel when I was a kid. I used to read the comics. I used to watch the cartoons, X-Men cartoons, and Spider-Man cartoons, and any other Marvel cartoon that came out during the 80s and 90s. I used to watch it because I love it. I was loved as a kid, and my favorite cartoon is X-Men, obviously, because like X-Men, they had almost every race of people that represented the world. And the good thing about the X-Men, when he created them, he gave them superpowers, but they also gave them flaws, because as human beings we got flaws. So you want to make those characters interrelatable to human beings, because as human beings we got flaws. And every time we watch an X-Men film or read an X-Men comic, we can relate to those people, because we as human beings we're not perfect. No one's perfect. But what I find with the DC comics, even though I enjoyed watching the DC films and comics, they were created like gods, so therefore they were so perfect and it was good. But I couldn't relate to those kind of people. And I like Superman and I mean, okay, Batman's the only one that's not a god, because obviously he's a multi-billionaire, he's got money, and we could relate to him. That's what I loved about Batman. My first ever superhero films. My first ever superhero films, apart from Superman films, was Batman. Because I love Batman. He was rich, and became Batman because of the death of his parents and so on, and that's why he became a superhero, and that's what I liked about Batman. But going back to the Marvel comic theme of Stan Lee, the death of Stan Lee, God rest his soul. Also, what I'm gonna say, and the good thing about Stan Lee, he's good about Stan Lee and his Marvel comics and Marvel films, that he created those characters that basically his characters came, his Marvel characters came. I'm gonna start again. His Marvel characters in films translates race, social class, including Batman, you name it. He translates every class or social class or what have you, because he felt that everyone should be represented again. And also he brought the whole world together. It didn't matter what race, colour, creed, religion, how tall, short you are, what colour eyes you are, what your dress sense was. He didn't care. He built the whole world. He united the whole world. And it's a sad loss that he's gone. I'm a bit upset he's gone, because every time I watch his films, and he always made cameo roles, and I tell you, his cameo was so funny. I remember the Avengers, the Infinity War Avengers, when Spider-Man was in the bus, the school bus, and he had to get away from he had to get out of the bus because he had to save the planet. And then that Stan Lee was driving, and I thought, oh, you kids, this, that, the other. But it was so funny. And I love his cameos, because he's a legend, man. I remember watching one of his Spider-Man cartoons with the Scarlet Spider, And I think towards the end, with the end of the series, I think with the series when Spider-Man had clones, with all different clones, you had the Man Spider clone, the Spider-Man who was rich, the rich Spider-Man. He had Ben Riley, the one he died, he said blonde. He was in it as well. That's the Scarlet Spider, and you know, towards the end of that series, when Spider-Man saved the whole dimension, different Spider-Man dimensions, he saved Stan Lee as well. Stan Lee, he sort of sprung, he web spun with Stan Lee through the air and dropped him up to his office, and Stan Lee was a legend, man. And you know, every time I watch, even now, I still watch the X-Men cartoons and Spider-Man cartoons because it brought so much happy parts of my childhood. Even to this day, I'm 36 now, but I still watch it because you know. It brought so much happiness, and also when I watch the Marvel films and watch Marvel films and watch Marvel cartoons and read Marvel comics, it's like an escapism for me because you know obviously in life sometimes you go through bad times in life, whatever situation you're in, and you just want to have an escapism, and that for me my escapism is Marvel comics. Obviously, I'm going off tangent. These are comics, the Marvel films, any superhero films. It's like a good escape because I can just be me and just be accepted, you know what I mean, and just feel good about myself, and I want to be a superhero because obviously like I know I'm going off a tangent and dreaming that, but it's good because like the black person, the black man, when we go for went for racism, not as bad as some people, but like when you throughout the world when black people go for racism, even though I was like a teenager when I watched the X-Men and the people, the humans hated them because of mutants, and the mutants didn't like the black because obviously they'll fight against mutant. The mutants fight against the human being didn't like them. I can totally relate to that. The black person, because it was the fact that world, obviously black people, people scared of us. They don't like us, and they hate us for something we can't control. You know, due to the negative stereotype and so on. And I'm so glad that I thank God that Stan Lee created the X-Men and all the Marvel comics in Cinematic Universe, because obviously as a black man, I can relate to those characters because obviously they go through prejudice all the time for something they can't control. And as a black man, you know, you hear the news of the racism and stuff like that, and it touched my heart because I got something to relate to, and something that I can sort of not be in peace with, but I can sort of like. Basically, the Marvel comics like a solace to me. It's like a solace to me where I can just sort of know that I've got place in the world. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. And also, what I'm gonna say this, Professor Xavier's character was based on Martin Clinton because he wanted to sort of bring peace he wanted to deal with a bad situation in the peace point of view. Whereas with Magneto, he was based on Malcolm X, whereas Malcolm X like dealt with if Malcolm X want to deal with a bad situation, he goes for any means necessary. He deals with violence, with confrontation of violence to deal with it. So therefore, that makes it a perfect dynamic because obviously when you watch the X-Men films and cartoons, what I'm gonna say, when you see Professor Xavier, he wants to deal with peace. He don't like violence. He likes to deal with the situation, the peace point of view, like bring peace to the world and what should be accepted and what have you. Whereas with Perfect Xavier, with Magneto, he deals with things from a violent point of view. You know, you want to kill them, beat them up because they're horrible mutants, and I could see where they're coming from, and even though they're comics, but you can relate to real life because the X-Men were based on black people, the struggles we go through, not only from the olden days, throughout the Superman movements, the Windrush generation, throughout the world, and even up to the present day. We as black people, I feel so good because obviously it's like I said, like escaping for me. I can just watch a film, I can feel good about myself, and he did something that was so profound, especially with not only creating black characters like Miles Morales, the Black Spider-Man, with the black Spider-Man suit. He created also Sam Wilson as Falcon, and also he created the Black Panther. You know, the Black Panther. And I tell you, when I watched the Black Panther film early this year, I tell you, it was so good. It was so good. The wicked film, man. And know that he created an African prince, man. He was royalty, and where he lives in Wakanda. That Wakanda where he lives is so technological advanced. It was so great, and it made me feel proud, especially with a black man, you know. And you know, it's like a little dream that if we did well in life, and you know, anything could be possible, you know. And I'm just getting my head around the death of Stan Lee. You know, he was the best thing ever happened to my childhood, even up to now. And also when I get my life sorted out, I'll be buying lots of Marvel films. I've got a few Marvel films. I ain't got many though, but I'm gonna buy a new film Marvel film. I've got Spider-Man and the first Avengers film. I think it was the second one. I can't remember what it was. Avengers Assemble. I've got that one. But when I get my life sorted out, not only I'm gonna buy the Marvel films like via DVD. I'm gonna buy the Marvel comics. I've got a few Marvel T-shirts. 'Cause I love Marvel. I've got X-Men T-shirts. I've got X-Men T-shirts and Superman T-shirts and things like that. Even though Superman's DC, I just love superhero comics. I just love superhero because it brings the inner child in me. You know, it brings that inner child in me. You know, it brings out the childhood that I had and the best bits of my childhood that I had growing as a kid, growing up in North London. I'm gonna say, you know. And also, like I said before, what Stan Lee did was groundbreaking. He was the best thing. Thank God. I mean, he's not racist or anything like that. He's a good. I don't know him personally, but he was a good guy. He gave everybody a chance, no matter what race, economic, social class, or background you come from. Everyone was given a chance, you know. And you know, my favorite characters personally, my favorite Marvel character is Spider-Man because he was a gawky nerdy kid that was bit by a spider and became superpower, became strong. And he had when after his uncle died, he had a choice to either use it for bad and good and use it for good, which is nice. And also, my other favourite character I liked is Captain America, because with Captain America, he was a scrawny man, he was a short guy, and then he had that serum thing, you know, the super soldier serum thing. And I remember watching the first Avenger films. I saw on online not so long. I saw a clip of it, and he became really big. So he went from 5'4" to 6'2". And I'm so glad that when they picked Chris Evans to play Captain America, he was a good fit for Captain America. He looked similar to Steve Rogers in the comics as well. And I'll tell you, he was great. He was so great. And funny enough, Chris Evans, he's only older than me. You know what I mean? You know, he's born in the 40th of June. The 40th of June. The 30th of June '81. Was I born 10th of June '82? So yeah, it's weird. Like he's older than me, and he's played Captain America. He played my superheroes, and I just love superhero comics in general, and superhero comics in general and films as well. I love superhero films because it brings that inner child in me, be my childhood again, and I love it. I enjoy it, and like this year, especially the Avengers, the first Avengers film, that was a great film, fantastic film. My favorite bit when Captain America came, you know, when they were in Scotland, and I think that woman, I can't remember the name, the character, they were struggling, and he helped them, and he beat them up in it, and the bit when they was in Wakanda and they were fighting, and then when Captain America when he had to fight against Thanos, and he held him as hard as he could. He was so strong, man, and I'm looking forward to the next one coming out. I think April, May 2019 is coming out next one. And I saw Venom recently. Venom's a great film with Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is a great actor, and he played the Venom character very well. And you know, if it weren't for Stan Lee creating these characters, none of these characters exist. I wouldn't be going to I wouldn't be going to cinema watching Marvel films and things like that, because I tell you, it's so great. The Marvel films are fantastic, and not only that, the Marvel comics is great as well. And also, like I said, when I get my life sorted, I'm gonna buy a lot of Marvel t-shirts. There's so many t-shirts I buy Marvel because obviously you can get them cheap as well. But there's so many of them to buy, so it doesn't cost me a bit of money. But like I said, when I get my life sorted out, I'll be buying them again. And you know, Stan Lee, even for you, I won't be going to the films. I'll be getting the comics. I'm getting DVDs. I won't be buying the t-shirts. I want to buy. I've got t-shirts. And I want to buy more t-shirts. So you know, if it weren't for you creating all these characters and these toys and so on, none of this would exist without you. And I'll say a big thank you. You made a massive, great contribution to my life and throughout my childhood and to the present day, and so many other people throughout the world. You know, and I love your films, and hopefully Marvel can stay on top as for many years. And if I have a child, I'll make them watch Marvel films and comics and so on, and tell them that what I went through as a kid and what I enjoyed in my childhood, so they can pass on generation. If I have kids, that is. But I tell you, it's the best thing. You know, I love the Marvel films and characters. They're flawed. You can relate to them, you know, because obviously they weren't. They even though they had superpowers, they had flaws that issues that they were doing. And as human beings, none human being on the planet are perfect, so therefore we have to deal with it as well. But anyway, I'm gonna say it's been a while since I've done a video, so I apologise, you know, for not making any videos recently, because I've been I took time off YouTube and just I took time. I took a break from making videos, so therefore I thought, you know, when I heard the announcement of the day that Stan Lee died, I thought I had to make a video about it, because obviously it relates to my childhood and many other people throughout the world, and you know, I had to do it. I had to do it because it would be sort of criminal of me not to do it, because obviously, like, even now, like the other day, for instance, I was watching X-Men films, X-Men cartoons from the 1990s, and I was watching obviously the Apocalypse and feel like that is so good. Even now, even though, like, as I'm 36 years old, even now I get excited watching the cartoons, because I'm a big kid at heart in certain things when it comes to like Marvel comics, especially, and DC comics as well. I don't mind DC, but I prefer Marvel, because Marvel, their characters are more, there's more characters, they've got more choice of characters, different types of characters. With DC, they're more like create like godlike characters, whereas Marvel, they're more like, even though they're mutants, they're more human. They got like a human side to them as well, that we all can relate to, no matter what race, color, creed you have, we can relate to them, you know, because we do. None of the world's perfect. But before I go, I'm gonna say, recipe Stan Lee. You brought a great joy to my life and many others throughout the world. You gave me such happy times with your cameos, your film cameos and comic cameos and so on. And also, you create toys that I liked when I was a kid. As a Captain America toy when I was a kid, Spider-Man toy as a kid when I was a kid. And you provide, you know, I didn't have the best childhood, but what I could say about my childhood that was happy moment in my childhood, in my life, was watching the Stan Lee cartoons, X-Men, Spider-Man, and so on. And you know, watching these films, and I remember the first Spider-Man came out back in the first Spider-Man came out back in 2002. I'll tell you, it was a wicked film. My favorite Spider-Man is probably Tobey Maguire. You know, other Spider-Mans came out since. In terms of Spider-Man, the character, I'll say my favorite is Tobey Maguire. But in terms of the Spider-Man suit, it's got to be Tom Holland. His suit was wicked, especially when I watched the Spider-Man Homecoming one. The Homecoming film was a good film. It was a really good film. I wasn't a big fan of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, but the Tom Holland Spider-Man and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, they're great Spider-Mans. They're the wicked Spider-Man. I loved it, and I enjoy those films. And hopefully, Marvel can carry on making great films for years to come, and so on. And I can enjoy, when I get older, I can enjoy watching the films for years to come, and you know, it'll be great. Anyway, all I'm gonna say this year, I'll say again, Stan Lee, rest in peace in heaven. Hopefully, the success of Marvel long may continue, and so on. Anyway, if you like this video, please subscribe. I'm out.